Bob Proctor was right. This man, Bob Proctor, spent over 50 years studying human potential and success and ancient principles, and he understood something that most people, even so-called successful people, often completely miss. He said, in every single moment, you are a new person. You already paid for the past. And he had this powerful analogy I'll share with you today about blank pages that literally changed the way I see myself, my life, hell, my entire reality. Something that, looking back, broke me out of the most destructive cycle of self-sabotage I had in my entire life. So here's what people don't realize. You could be making a shit ton of money and looking so-called successful on the outside, building successful businesses, achieving external success, material wealth, and still be completely trapped by past patterns and your own self-sabotage. I know that because I lived it. At the peak of my business, I made $91,344 in a single month, which I'm going to beat soon, by the way. But I was also snoozing my alarm every morning, procrastinating on my most important work, staying up way too late, getting sucked into social media and finger fucking my iPhone for hours on end, and struggling with addictive patterns that I could not seem to break. Dude, which pissed me off because I kept thinking like, I'm a smart person. I know better. Why can't I figure this out? And it was ironic because the more successful I became externally, the more that I started to get in my own way internally. What a trip, right? And here's the fucked up part. Over the years, the more aware I became of my self-sabotage, the worse it got. But once I discovered what Bob Proctor taught about the blank page principle, I realized looking back what it was that finally helped me to break that cycle and how you can do the same. Hey family, welcome back. Or if you're new here, I'm Chris. I made $1 million in my business by the time I was 25, and now I'm documenting what it really takes to build $1 million a year business doing what you love, manifest your dream life, and become the most high income, high confidence, high performing, and high vibration version of yourself. So if you're ready to stop playing small and you want to start winning at the level that you and I know you're capable of, then you better subscribe. So first, let's talk about one of my favorite teachers, Bob Proctor. Just going to start over here. I'll draw a little stick figure to represent Bob. Bob Proctor was a badass. So let's talk about Bob. Bob was one of the most influential success and spiritual teachers of all time. He studied and taught the mental and universal laws that govern success and achievement. But here's what made Bob different than your other so-called motivational speakers or teachers. He didn't just teach positive thinking or some hustle culture bullshit. He taught fundamental principles that anybody could use about how the mind works and how to reprogram your subconscious to stop it from working against you. And Bob understood that most people are prisoners, not of their circumstances, but of their conditioning, which is what is creating their circumstances. Because we are programmed in early life with certain beliefs, patterns, and a certain self-image. And maybe you, like me, had a crazy childhood that sort of fucked you up. And then we spend our entire adult lives unconsciously living out those programs, even when they're sabotaging everything we want to achieve or have or be in our life. And Bob's entire mission was to show people how to break free from that programming. And his most powerful teachings taught us how to create a new self-image, what he called the winning image. And I'll teach you all about that in just a second. But when I heard this blank page principle that Bob taught, it all clicked for me. Let's talk about this blank page. In one of Bob's most popular seminar series called Born Rich, he would do this exercise with his participants that made me laugh. He'd tell everyone to turn to a specific page in their workbook that, you got as a part of attending the event, and they'd discover that the next several pages were completely blank. In fact, they weren't even numbered. It was just completely random. And the pages before that was like 33, 34, and then the next couple of pages were blank. So Bob would pause and he'd ask the room, okay, raise of hands, who already numbered these blank pages 35 and 36? People would raise their hand and he'd go, that's exactly what you do in your life, and that's why you were stuck. The truth is, every single day is a blank page, and you don't have to put on it what naturally would come after what was in the past pages. Maybe before today, you were on page 34, but today could be page 1. And you certainly don't have to put on those pages moving forward what others tell you or what you think is going to be in your future based on what was in your past, because every single day is a blank page. It's a clean slate. And you can create and build a new image for yourself and your life, which allows you to restart at any moment. That's so simple, but it completely blew my mind. I wish I would have heard that years before when I was trapped in this vicious cycle of success followed by self-sabotage and self-destruction. And I want to share a little bit about my personal pattern. So I would be going to bed telling myself, okay, tomorrow's going to be different. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to kick ass, I'm going to get my work done, I'll stay on my schedule, I'm not going to distract myself, and on and on. So you'd think I'd wake up with big plans and ambitious goals in action, right? No. I'd hit snooze 3 or 4 times before getting out of bed. I'd finally get up, then I'd immediately check my phone and get sucked into social media. And then throughout the day, I'd procrastinate on my most important work being done till the very last minute, or I wouldn't even do it. I'd just do busy work. And then I'd stay up way too late, telling myself I had to make up for the shitty day that I had, except then I'd finger fuck my iPhone some more, or spiral into complete overwhelm. And then I'd wake up exhausted, and the cycle would repeat. But here's the crazy part. I was still making a shit ton of money during that time. It's like what Gary Keller says. He says, some people succeed in spite of who they are, not because of who they are. And that was me. I was succeeding externally, like getting good results in terms of money and business, but I was internally self-sabotaging myself every freaking day. And the reason why is because I had this belief that money is easy. So of course it was. But I simultaneously had many limiting beliefs and bad patterns causing me to be a complete mess. And between you and I, hate myself in the process. And it was annoying because the more aware I became of those patterns, the more they would happen. And then the more frustrated I would get. It's like the more I tried to force myself or challenge myself to change, the more I felt like I was fighting against myself. And then the more I would self-sabotage, which would only make it worse. And it literally felt like I was in a fucking prison that I couldn't get out of. Until I realized what Bob Proctor is teaching. And here's what I discovered. I'm just going to draw this like vicious cycle occurring. What would happen is every single time I woke up, I was unconsciously assuming and believing that I was the same person as yesterday. And the thing is, our behaviors and our results come after who we believe ourselves to be. So it's like identity, behavior, result. So what do you think happened? If I still believe that I'm this old self, well, that means at the time, I believed myself to be the type of person who snoozes his alarm, the person who procrastinates, the person who gets distracted easily or can't focus, the person who struggles with self-discipline. So I was basically carrying forward this past identity into each new day and then acting surprised when I kept seeing the same results show up. But Bob taught a fundamental principle and mistake that most people make. We falsely believe that we are our past patterns. We think we are our past decisions. We think we are our old conditioning. But that's total bullshit. As Bob said, in every new moment, you are a new person. You already paid for the past. So what does that mean? It means that you've already experienced the consequences of your past choices. You don't have to keep paying for them by continuing to live as the same person moving forward. You can choose to be someone new and different right now. Not someday, not after you fix all your problems, not after you build better habits or prove something to yourself, because that's bullshit. I'm talking about right fucking now. And this all ties together to what I said earlier that Bob taught about the winning image. So let's talk about this winning image. So this winning image, otherwise known as self-image or identity, is what we're hoping to create for ourselves. Because the truth is, your self-image controls everything. How you wake up in the morning, the decisions you make throughout your day, the standards you hold yourself to, the things you believe yourself to be worthy of, the things that you attract into your life, and the results that you create in your life and in your work. Because your self-image is something called a cybernetic mechanism. And its whole job, a cybernetic mechanism, is to provide checks and balances. And so your identity is constantly providing checks and balances to your internal and external world. And the most easy example of a cybernetic mechanism is 2 things: the thermostat in your home and an automatic pilot in an airplane. So I'm going to take a second and I'm going to explain both to you just so this makes sense. We're first going to start off with the thermostat. So I'm going to draw this little thermostat icon here. You can see we've got the little, I don't know what this is called, the little thing that measures the degrees. So this is the thermostat. And the thing is that you or your identity is set to a certain degree. So just like your house, you might be set at 68 degrees. And what happens is if the thermostat picks up that your temperature is going up or going down, it's going to kick on and adjust this temperature. So This thermostat's attached to your air conditioner or your heater. And for you, it's attached to your behavior and your results. When things heat up, that's a good thing. So that's like success, abundance, progress, results, evolution. And when things cool down, that's bad. So this is like disease, decay, depression, self-sabotage, like not so good stuff. And the thing is, the thermostat's job, or in other words, your identity's job, is to make sure that you stay congruent with whatever it's set to. So if you're a 68-degree person, you're never going to get 100-degree results in your life. And the contrary applies. You also have a certain comfort zone that you won't always dip below either. Even if life gets really bad, you'll kind of always find yourself back to a pretty similar spot over time. So, as Bob taught, if we want to upgrade our reality and the results that we're getting in it, we must upgrade our self-image and, in other words, raise our baseline temperature. Now, let's talk about an automatic pilot. So I'm going to draw an airplane, and now I'm not saying that doodling is my strong suit, but that's pretty good, not bad. So that's pretty good. I'm stoked about that. That's a good airplane. So we have this little airplane. Let's draw the little windows on it. And this airplane's cruising through the sky. And let's say for a second that this airplane left where I'm at in Texas, and it's going to New York. Okay, so this plane is going to make the trip to New York from Texas. So what does the airplane pilot do? Well, they lock in on the coordinates for New York, and they take off from Texas. So the automatic pilot's job is to make sure that along the flight, they stay on track for New York. Now let's assume for a second, they're flying along and they get a few degrees off course. They start going, more towards like Florida. The automatic pilot on that airplane is going to pick up the deviation and it's going to say, no, we're going to New York, and it's going to adjust the airplane's flight and speed and all the other things to get them to New York. Now let New York represent where you want to go or where you're on course for, and let Florida represent maybe somewhere else, maybe good, maybe bad. Your automatic pilot is always going to do whatever it takes. In other words, your identity is going to do whatever it takes to keep you set to your set point. But the problem is that most people's set point is shitty. It's not good. The default that most people have is scarcity, disease, misery, low self-esteem, and all the other things that you don't want. So what we must do is we must create a new set point. And I call that an ideal, which is like a vision for yourself, a vision for your life. And we need to coordinate from where you are now to this new set point and to let your automatic pilot, your identity, carry you there, because it's always going to keep you on track for whatever you set it to. So hopefully this clears up. What is identity? What is self-image? You have the automatic pilot. You've got the thermostat. Now let's talk more about Bob Proctor's winning image idea. So what Bob Proctor taught in this winning image little series that he had is that our self-image is not fixed. It's not permanent. It's not determined by your past. It's a choice that you make every single moment. It's something that you can recreate and decide for yourself. And as I mentioned, the problem is that if you don't do that, you get the default, which for most people is not good. And Bob actually talked about that. He taught that there are two types of people in the world. So let's draw these two types of people. We have over here person 1 and over here person 2. I'll draw a line between them because they are not the same. Okay, so person 1 represents the type of people who don't realize they can change their self-image. These are people that are trapped by ignorance. They think they're stuck being who they are and living in the reality that they have because they always have been. Or they falsely believe, well, when I get this result, or when I prove to myself I can act differently, then I'll be this new person. But that's ass backwards. Like a carrot on the stick, they're going to keep chasing, not realizing they're chasing themselves, and they're never going to catch them. And then we have person number 2, which is you and me. And we're the type of people who understand we can consciously choose our self-image, otherwise known as identity. People like us, we have the knowledge and the awareness. And between you and me, knowledge isn't just what you know, it's what you do with what you supposedly know. The true measure of knowledge is behavior and action. To know and not to do is not to know. And you and I, we know because we take action on these ideas and we use them to get what we want out of life. We know that we can change the image in our mind that we're mentally and emotionally involved in, and with that, we will instantly change everything in our reality. All the things we see will change. As James Allen, the author of As a Man Thinketh, said, Your circumstances may be uncongenial right now, but they will not long remain so if you perceive an ideal. We talked about what an ideal is, and then you strive to reach it. Meaning, you and your life and your results might suck right now. You might be broke, or maybe you're at least not making the amount of money that you'd like to make. But if you lock in on a new ideal, a new image of yourself and your life, which is what you'd rather be, do, and have, instead of your current circumstances, you and everything in your reality will instantly change. And Bob's approach was very simple. Build an image of your ideal self in your reality, which I'm going to allow this cloud to represent. So in the mind, we're going to build an image of what we want. So I'm going to do a smiley face and money, right? Happiness, abundance, success. We're going to build an image of that, what that looks like in our life and for ourselves, and then we're going to strive to reach it. But here's where most people fuck this up. They try to become that person gradually over time. But Gary Keller, founder of Keller Williams, said it perfectly. Instead of trying to become someone, decide today that you are that person and strive to hold the standards of that person. And that's exactly what I did. Instead of slowly trying to become better and hoping my self-sabotage would magically go away, I made a radical decision. I decided that starting right now, I will no longer be the person who snoozes my alarms or trips myself up constantly or whatever. I didn't hope that I would. I commanded my subconscious with authority and conviction. You will wake me up tomorrow at 6 a.m. I will feel rested, excited, and ready for the day. And I will easily get out of bed. I wasn't going to work on becoming this person or waking up earlier or whatever other thing. I wasn't going to try to become more disciplined over time. I was going to be the person who jumps out of bed excited and ready to attack the day. Like a lion chasing a gazelle. I'm getting my teeth in it. And every morning and every day became a blank page. I didn't and I don't now carry forward yesterday's laziness and procrastination. I didn't and I don't let my past patterns dictate my present choices. I quit feeling sorry for myself and my fuck-ups. That is not who I am. So what happened? Well, I woke up as a new person, the disciplined, focused, high-performing, badass version of myself. And then when my old patterns try to creep in, which they still do because I'm a human being, I remind myself, that's not who I am anymore. Today, I'm someone different. And since I've learned this, the results have been fucking incredible. My productivity has skyrocketed, my energy levels are through the roof, my self-respect came back, and my income started to reflect this new identity. I was no longer fighting against my old patterns anymore all the time because I was focused on my ideal, who I'm becoming and what I want. And I began to be someone different. By the way, if you want to learn more about identity shifting and stop self-sabotaging your success, you can check out my free course and community in the description. Or if you are an entrepreneur, creator, or salesperson, I will help you personally stop self-sabotage and scale your income into the $10,000 to $100,000 a month range. You can learn more about that there. And at the time of recording this video, there's something crazy going on, so you better check it out. So I want to just talk about how you can use this blank page analogy and everything we've discussed today to stop self-sabotaging yourself, to step into your higher self, this ideal winning image that you have, and therefore get what you want out of life. Grab it by the balls, quit asking for life to give you what you want, and get out there and fucking take it. First thing, you need to recognize that yesterday's version of you is dead. You must die to your old self to become your new self and to have a new life. Every night when you go to sleep, that version of you dies. Every morning when you wake up, you have an opportunity to be reborn. Stop carrying all the habits, patterns, and limitations from yesterday into tomorrow like it's a fucking heavy little backpack with rocks you have to carry with you throughout your life. It's not. Let it go. Set that shit down. And the second thing you need to do, design your winning image. We talked about this, your ideal. Get crystal clear on who you want to be and what you want to have. And ask yourself questions. How does this new version of me think, feel, and act? How do they run their day? What standards do they hold themselves to? How do they handle challenges and setbacks? How do they dress? What's their demeanor? Like, I'm talking get fucking descriptive. You're writing an outline for who you're becoming and what you want out of life. Nothing is more important. Be descriptive, make it specific and vivid, and that becomes your guide. And once you've done that, step into that person right now. Don't wait for the world or other people to give you permission. Don't try to become that person. Act as if you already are them. Be that person now. Make decisions from that place. Take action from that place. Hold yourself to standards that align with that new identity. Act as if you've always been this way. because it's up to you. Have you? Okay, then fucking do it. And then moment by moment, as you're going throughout the day, use this as a reset button. When you catch yourself falling into old patterns, beating yourself up, being hard on yourself, self-sabotaging, simply remind yourself, that is not who I am. Use that moment as a blank page and restart. And if you do this, if you simply just persist until this becomes natural, your subconscious mind, of course, is going to try to pull you back into old patterns. That's normal. It's not failure. So what you need to do is just celebrate any evidence that you are this new person. Positive reinforcement is fucking powerful. Like, I'm talking, pat yourself on the back constantly. Be your own hype man or woman. Cheerlead yourself at all times. Like, for example, I'm filming this video. Boom. That's my million subscriber identity showing up. Good job, Chris. In other words, like you were a child, you want to validate and celebrate yourself at all times. Like if the little kid you was in front of you, you'd be like, good job, buddy. Like you're doing a good job. I'm proud of you. Like talk to yourself like that. And then keep choosing this new identity until it becomes your new default, which doesn't take long, honestly, because you start to feel good. You start to get results and you're like, fuck going back. It's like, I don't know if you guys like Russ, the rapper, but like, I ain't going back. Go listen to that song. It's awesome. So let's tie this video up. Let's bring it home. Bob Proctor understood something so powerful, that every moment your neural pathways in your brain are being rewired or strengthened based on your current thoughts, feelings, and actions. So when you consciously just say, fuck it, I'm going to be this new person, I'm going to act from that new identity, you're literally creating new neural pathways in real time. Bob would call it, you're building new brain cells. You're not stuck with your past programming unless you believe yourself to be. You can reprogram yourself starting right now, and that starts with your identity. Remind yourself of who you are and who you want to be. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to wait, and you shouldn't wait until external circumstances change and tell you that you're this new person. No, that's the opposite. You need to start being this new person right now, and then the external will show you that that's the case. As within, so without. Let go of this. This is a fucking illusion. It's the result of old ways of thinking, being, and doing. So take the power back. Quit giving the world a reality, your metaphorical balls or your power, and bring it back inside and say, no, I am. Well, who are you? Decide. And then act from that place and watch everything around you change. Because Bob Proctor was right when he said that every moment you are a new person and you've already paid for your past. So let that shit go. Your past patterns, your past mistakes, your past limitations, they don't have to define your future because they're not who you are. Every day, hell, every moment is a blank page. You get to decide what goes on that page. You have the pen in your hand. It is your responsibility. You are the creator of your reality, not just the hopeless observer. And you can choose to write the same old patterns, limitations, bullshit, self-sabotage, poor me, whatever, or you can write a completely new story of discipline, success, fulfillment, empowerment, and badassery. Stop trying to become someone better and start being it right now. Right now. Today, this very moment. Who are you? I believe in you, so be that person. And as Bob taught, build a winning image and then live from that image until it becomes reality. Be sure to comment your takeaways and subscribe if you found this video valuable. Join my free community for identity shifting in the description. And again, if you're a creator, entrepreneur, or salesperson, and you want to stop self-sabotage and scale your income into the $10,000 to $100,000 a month range, click to work with me down below. And again, at the time of recording, there's something crazy going on, doing something I've never done before. You should check it out. Remember, you already paid for the past. Stop making payments on a debt that's already been settled. Your new life starts today. All right, family, much love. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Mwah!